Hi there. Thanks for checking out my journey video series where I'm documenting the lessons and challenges associated with building a business from scratch. My name is Rich Oben and I'm the founder of The Motivation Mindset. And today I want to talk about the idea of commitment. And specifically, I read a little while ago the book, The 12-Week Year. And if you haven't read it, I really enjoyed it. It lays out a framework for basically managing your not just your tasks, but your goals and your process for getting things done from week to week, and how you make sure that those all align and support your goals, and how you can actually accomplish as much in what he calls a 12-week year, or basically a quarter. How you can accomplish as much in that time frame if you structure it and follow this process as most people do in a full year. And I actually just finished my first 12-week year cycle recently. I had pretty good success. I didn't quite accomplish as much as I had hoped to accomplish during that time period, but I must say that it's not necessarily the fault of the process. I was going back through and I was looking at the book, and I realized I didn't really follow the methodology quite as closely as I should have. Specifically, there's a framework in here for basically grading yourself each week and using that as a metric to make changes and course corrections along the way. And while I have been keeping track of my progress and doing weekly reviews and things of that nature, I didn't quite follow the process as it's laid out in the book, and so I can't quite give it I can't quite fault the process, I guess, because I didn't really follow it to the full extent. But I did have good luck with it, and I just from a general perspective of the book and the process, I would at least tentatively endorse it. But the reason I bring the book up, is because there's a couple of concepts in here that I really like related to commitment. In the early part of the book, he talks about how our society has kind of a misconception of two terms. The first being the word accountability, and myself included, before I read this, is the common conception is that accountability is something that you do to other people, organizations, businesses, governments, families, whatever, hold each other accountable. And they discuss the concept in the book that accountability really is not something that you do to somebody else. That's consequences. When you hold somebody accountable, you're basically giving them consequences for not doing something that either they were supposed to do, or that they said they wanted to do or were going to do, that they quote committed to doing. And so accountability is really something that you do yourself. It's basically personal accountability. It's taking personal responsibility for your life, for the things that you bring into your life, the things that you make happen or don't make happen. And I strongly believe in general the concept of personal responsibility, personal accountability, and taking responsibility for the things that happen in your life. So I really like that idea, and then it ties into and is related to the idea of commitment. And the term commitment is thrown around pretty loosely in our society, in our world. We talk about commitments that people make, and that we break commitments all the time. And in here, he talks about the fact, and I say it's actually written by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. It's actually two individuals who wrote the book. But talks about the fact that commitment, the term commitment, is really used very loosely. When you truly are committed to something, by definition, that means that you will do whatever it takes to make it happen. In fact, he gives a definition of the term commitment in the book here. So the definition that he puts in the book, which he liked obviously because he put it in the book, but I like it as well, is from the American Heritage Dictionary, 4th edition. They defined the term commitment as the state of being bound emotionally or intellectually to a course of action. And so I think that really kind of illustrates it very well, the idea of being bound to something, that if you are committed, then you are going to do whatever is within your power to make sure that outcome comes to pass. And a lot of people when they, make promises to people or make promises to themselves, do something, whether it's to, get in shape, lose weight, quit smoking, be nicer to their family members or spouse, to, call your mom every week, whatever it is. You make a promise or a commitment to do something. And is it really a commitment? Even if it's something that you genuinely want to do and genuinely believe you should do, and it will help you, whether it be healthier long term or have better relationships or what have you, if you're not actually committed to making it happen, that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't try to do it, but I guess you just need to be honest with yourself on whether that's something that is worth investing the time and resources that it's going to take to do, because ultimately everything that you do takes time away from something else. Every yes is a no, or actually every yes is a 1,000 no's, because you're saying no to 1,000 other things that you could be doing during that time. And so, I like the idea of that commitment from that standpoint, that it causes you to really stop and consider when you're laying out your goals for the year, or your life goals, if you will, on the kinds of things that you want to commit to. You need to make sure that they are really the things that are the most important to you, because if you are committing to them, then you are going to be making sacrifices and making choices in order to make them happen, because in fact you will do whatever it takes to bring them about. So I really like the idea of commitment in that sense, and I wanted to share that with you today, and also talk about the book 12-Week Year, and encourage you to check it out. So hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you next time.